Alright, so 5 minutes before launch, this is one I've been excited to do, to get a first piece of a space station into orbit. Should be a lot of fun. One can hope. One can dream. And Bob can smash things, which is why we have Bill. That and Bob is dead. Or, well, he was dead. Twice. And he's back. I don't quite understand that. It is 9 o'clock here at Memphis, so that means it is a 10 o'clock Eastern Time launch. I don't know what the heck time it is on Kerbin. But without further ado, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kind of a slow start there. Hoping that's not going to automatically broadcast, because I don't know what happens if the antenna opens while we're doing this. It might do it. It might do it. Is it going to do it? We'll keep it for a minute. Okay. That's good. I'm not going to tip the rocket over to send the transmission. That's a good start. The angle looks kind of wonky. It's making me kind of sick. Okay, so far so good. We're going straight up. That's what we want out of our solid fuel. We want to get as high up as we can before our liquid fuel takes over. And things look pretty swell. I guess as they should with 9 solid fuel boosters. Nine seems like an odd number. Well, I mean, it is an odd number. I'm just gonna stop talking and watch the rocket. So we're almost at 85... Bam, there we go. 85,000. So we're going to let ourselves get close to the apoapsis, and we're going to use what's left of our liquid fuel booster phase to kick off our orbital turn. And we're going to try and get the most bang for our buck, if you will, for what's left of our liquid fuel boosters, excuse me, before we eject that stage. And right about there. That's a pretty good burn. Now we're going to chase the prograde point. Again, the goal here is get the most bang for your buck. We're going to have to stage really quick here. Keep our momentum up. Keep up the momentum, buddy. No one gets that. And they shouldn't. Okay, so now we've separated from the boosters. We're now just space station and lander. So we're going to chase that prograde point right around. We're only going to chase it as far as being level against Kerbin. First segment of the BroLab Space Station. So far, so good. I was kind of using a lot of fuel just to get into orbit. We're back on descent too, which is kind of scaring me. Still got ways to go. We can fix the orbit later. As long as we have a high enough paraapsis that we're not falling back into the atmosphere, we can always fix it. And if we can't fix it, we can try and dock and bring more fuel up. Because that's how space stations work, or something like that. Come on, baby. Oh, there we go. I was just being impatient. So we're going to cut the engines. Check out where we're at for a para-apsis, 91, an apoapsis of what? 116. So the apoapsis is more or less where we want it. That is fantastic. The para-apsis needs to come up a little bit, but we can wait till we're at apoapsis for that. That is just splendid. So one of the things we're going to do here is we're going to end up separating our segments here before we attempt to correct the orbit, because essentially we're forcing it to push around the lander and extra weight for no apparent reason. So we should be okay to do this. I'm a little nervous about this section, but screw it. Let's go. Okay, so we've now disconnected and initiate the throttle. Just kind of lightly throttle up. We don't want to push the space station. That's the important thing. We don't want to push it retrograde. So we're going to float away for a while before we attempt anything. So we're going to look at the orbits that we have. Very similar orbits. We didn't really adjust it at all, so that's good. We haven't impacted its orbit, as it were. Which is exactly what we were looking for. So the lander's going to be in free flight for a little while here. We're actually going to do something a little wonky from what I'm used to. We're going to angle down and throttle up for a quick burn. Kill it. There we go. So that's going to throw off our orbit just enough that we don't have to risk knocking into the space station when we do our retrograde burn, which we're going to do now. Bring us right back into a suborbital trajectory. Should have finished that sentence. We're going to see the camera roll in just a moment as we bring our para-apsis down to the planet. There we are. That's beautiful. Give us a good descent here before we cut the engines at half fuel. Quite a long re-entry. Bill looks confident though. Look at him. Just a smirk. Just a cross-eyed smirk. He's adjusting his helmet a little bit. Trying to look good for the camera, I guess. I don't know. How's our... Yep, looks like we're going to fall into the water. Gonna give us a little prograde boost. Okay, nope. We're gonna tumble. There we go. Tumble. Burn across the horizon a little bit. Probably not the best thing to attempt during re-entry. And cut. I think Bill's gonna be just fine. There we go. Parachute height. We'll give it just a little bit longer. There we go. And a nice comfy ride back down. So now we are back in orbit. And we're going to aim ourselves prograde. We're going to check on the map and see where we're at. Now we're starting to hit the dark side here, so we're going to turn on the lights so we can see what we're doing. I don't know why that little ring thinks it's BroLab. That's kind of curious. Anywho, we're still in the situation where our apoapsis is about where we want it to be. Our para-apsis is a little low. Let's go ahead and speed that up. because I'm impatient. So we're gonna get pretty close to apoapsis before we start this burn. Since the apoapsis is pretty much right where I want it. And I really didn't think we'd be that lucky. Now, the good news, it shouldn't take a whole lot of fuel to adjust paraapsis. I don't imagine. So we're going to just do this very slowly. I want to see paraapsis raise to about 120. Cut it real quick. Now our apoapsis is a little higher than we wanted it. Let's just quickly burn the other direction. Really light. Easier to get this right where we want it. And 120. There we go. 119.9 is close enough. So one more time, we're gonna speed up, head around. Raise paraapsis one more time. And we'll probably go back and raise apoapsis ever so slightly, just to keep it above that 120 meter mark. So again, very slow burn. So now paraapsis at 119, apoapsis at 120.6. So we're gonna go around one more time. Trying to be very patient with this. And we really need to kill that little floating ring. It's kind of annoying. Apoapsis is about 33 seconds away. I'm going to raise paraapsis ever so slightly, so we're going to swing around. Right when we're... I don't know why this is getting kind of glitchy. There we go, 121 and 120. We could just do the tiniest little burn in reverse. Tiny. There we go, 120.6 and 120.6. That is like a perfect orbit. That is exactly what we wanted. Okay, let's turn ourselves back. Prograde. Just for aesthetics. Look at that. So now we can kind of just do a few experiments since we're up here, see if we can get anything out of them. Kind of expected not to get much out of them. We'll take what we can get. And that apparently is nothing, because we're not ever bringing this back to Kerbin. Alright. Okay, so let's go ahead and do an EVA with Sidon. Come on, Sidon. You got ladders, bud. You're being a wuss. So we can go ahead and do a little EVA report. And that gets us nothing as well. Woo. Okay, well. At least we know that the EVA ladders are working for us here. I'm on really the bad side of this. But that's fine. It's alright, we're going back in. It's okay, bud. You don't have to stay outside. So there we go. We got a functional core of a space station in orbit. We got lights on. We got tons of juice to power it, so they can just kind of chill out, do what they need to do. Look at that.